Hello, my name is Nicole, and thank you so much for taking the time out to listen. Today, I titled this message, Pretty or Handsome, You Better Watch Out. Pretty or handsome, you better watch out. And I'm also going to talk about those adults who are, and I'm just going to be bold, nasty. Downright nasty. There are individuals who are so drugged up. Some of them are addicted to many substances as a result of having been around some pretty nasty adults. And so they can't tell their stories in a way that resonates with many due to all of the cursing, due to the fact that they are ashamed because they gave in to the pressure of nasty adults. And so they can't articulate messages in a way to really sound the alarm to those individuals who are very pretty and very handsome. But I am not drug addicted. I am not alcohol abusive. I am not any of those things. But what I am is a child of God who feels moved to speak to you today about this nasty society of individuals who prey on pretty as well as handsome young men and women. And some will systematically set some things up early on when they see that beauty emerge with some children. I need to warn some of you all that when you have somebody, whether in the family or out of the family, who is often complimenting you on how beautiful, how sexy, how smart, how attractive, how handsome you are, that type of behavior, especially every time you're around that individual, starts to become a bit annoying. And it is also a red flag that that's somebody that you need to watch out for. Every time I go around cousin so-and-so, he always saying something about the way my butt looks. I don't care if you're male or female. Every time I get around this relative, she always got something to say about the way I'm built. I'm built just like my uncle, or I'm built just like my daddy. And then she starts to look me up and down. Every time I get around certain siblings, they always talking about something related to an event that took place when we were kids, and it was sexual in nature. Every time I get around certain family members, who are drinking, that's when they want to get real touchy and feely, want to hug me, want to kiss me, want to, just do the types of things that are inappropriate. I'm sick of this. And you should be. And you should be. You see, these individuals who prey on these pretty or handsome people are people that have a sickness that probably goes way back to a time when they were fondled, when they were, touched inappropriately. It most likely goes back to a time when there were some adults that was admiring them in seductive, nasty ways. Okay. And so if nobody said that that behavior was wrong, or they never looked at it as being nothing more than just playing or being nice or kind or whatever, then they got away with it. And so that victim ends up becoming an adult who repeats the same behavior. And if there are no people around speaking up about it, they're going to continue with it. And then there are some who will speak up, but then their words fall on deaf ears because they're victims too. They've been used and abused too. And so they're going to come after you. Now, for that child that got that funny feeling about some of these relatives, family, friends, or even somebody on a job, at school or elsewhere, the best thing you can do is, number one, disassociate yourself from that person. And they're already going to plan that that's what you're going to do sooner or later, but they want to make sure that they get a taste of you in more ways than one before you pick up on what is happening to you. So what they got to do is they got to give you some promises. And then if they can't make good on the promises, then what they have to do is threaten you. You better not tell, because if you tell, this is going to happen, that's going to happen. Okay. And I'm speaking from an adult mindset. Okay. An adult that's been around for a long time and have had my share of negative situations where, thank God, I was able to get up out of them. Some folks didn't get out of them. Okay. But were there some inappropriate behaviors that took place that I experienced? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And the thing is that being that I was a child, I didn't know, because I'd never experienced anything, okay, other than playing with cars, trucks, dolls, doing the types of things that little kids do, okay? Not the touch and feel type of stuff, but just, having a good old time. But then somebody who was abused decided that they want to show me something, right? And then somebody else who participated in some inappropriate play decided that, oh, well, you know what? We can, start going around pumping on folk. Okay. And so you don't know what's going on. And the next thing you know, you got somebody that's, moving their anatomy on your behind. And you're like, what is this? And you push them off, or you punch them, or, whatever else. So this sort of thing goes on, but it goes on even more so when you are that one that has something about your body or the way you look that's attractive. And the enemy will move on some flesh to override some spirits to get some people to get their selfish needs met. Now, I know that for some of you all, this message, it means nothing to you because you never experienced anything like it. And so for you, you are in that mindset where, oh, well, I need more details. I need to find out exactly what was it that this person did. The reason why folks want to come and start messing with him. I mean, was that child dressed inappropriate? Was that adult, doing some things that was seductive? I mean, did they give someone a sign to make them want to do what they did to them? That doesn't always happen, because a lot of times people are not expecting anything but just talk. That's it. Or play if you're a child. That's it. They're not thinking about anything sexual. But that one who wants to turn things upside down because they want their selfish needs met right then and there, they are going to figure out some ways to get somebody to go ahead and submit to their will. If you are put in a position where you're meeting someone behind closed doors, you already know that anything can happen. That's why it's best not to meet people behind closed doors, no matter what their title is, no matter how close they are, no matter what someone said about that individual. Where are we meeting at? Well, we're meeting over at my house. Oh, no, I won't be there. What do you mean? My wife's going to be there. They lie. Okay, wife's out there shopping, going somewhere, doing whatever. And here he is at the house by himself. Or that one you suspect something's a little bit off-putting, right? You at the family reunion, family event, whatever, and they conveniently set themselves up to be right there by the bathroom. Okay? Or they make sure that they follow you to see where you're going so that they can talk to you alone. Or how about those individuals that they want to be so helpful, don't they? And then they start touching, your strap or your, button or something that's on your clothing. And then they just happen to tap behind or just happen to bump a certain part of your anatomy. Yeah, right. These are just subtle signs to let you know you're dealing with somebody who want to do something a little bit more than what just took place. Now, you can keep on going around that person all you want. You can keep on listening to mama, daddy, sister, brothers, cousins, or whoever else talking about they're so nice, they're good, and you're just reading into things. But then the next thing you know, when that person shows his or her true colors, now what? When that person decides that they want to lay down, okay, and want you to lay down on top of them, now what? And some people, they will allow themselves to be put in these situations to the point where they are doing nothing more than breaking themselves down because they just had to see. They just had to know what was going on. They had to see if their suspicions were correct. You don't need to test your suspicions when that feeling is on the inside that somebody is strange, weird, gives you a creepy feeling. You're walking on eggshells. There's something dark about them. It seems like they're always covering up something. They're secretive. They're telling a lot of lies. They don't like to be, even touched a certain kind of way. Chances are that person has been abused, and not only that, is abusing or contemplating on abusing. So they're fighting the demons within to keep themselves from going all the way with someone. It could be their own child, or it could be somebody else's child. It could be some young girl somewhere, or it could be some young guy. But either way, for a lot of these people, the prerequisite is that you gotta be attractive. You gotta look a certain way. You gotta have something about your body that stands out. And that's what they gravitate to. It's almost as if they're obsessed with it. And some of you parents, you drop the ball because you're too trusting. You assume that everyone is good and right and this and that, and you don't safeguard your children. And that is why they take advantage. When you know that there are those who specifically target a certain ethnicity, that's all the more reason why you got to be more guarded about your children. When you know that there's somebody that loves a certain part of an anatomy, that's all the more reason why you should be covering up that certain part of anatomy, whether it's you or your children. And it doesn't matter nowadays whether your child is male or female. There are people that strategically target children. It's just one of their plans, period. And they're not worried about gender. They're not concerned about gender. They're not concerned about traditional stuff. And so our mindsets are thinking one way, and that perverted person is thinking a whole nother other way. And a lot of these lust spirits that sit on these men and women are, I hate to say it, on many of these Christian men and women because of the fact that the associations that they connected themselves with, whether in youth or older, was demonic, was tied to demonic spirits of lust, of sexual immorality, of incestuous spirits and so forth, right? And so that person that was under that ministry, or was shaking hands with that minister, or was hugging that minister, there was a transferring of spirits on vulnerability way back when. And so now the young boy becomes an adult wondering, why am I dealing with this stuff over and over again? Because you never did connect the dots with that lustful minister that you was tied to. And so unless there's a purging that takes place, you're going to still be under it. I can't seem to shake the dark thoughts. I can't seem to shake what happened to me years ago. I know that it's affecting my intimacy and the way I communicate, but well, you got to shake that thing off. And how you going to shake it off when you don't even look at God as being all powerful, all knowing everywhere? So you just sitting in that mess. And a lot of these people will sit in that mess until the day they close their eyes. Because they don't want to connect the dots. You were a very attractive youth once in a blue moon, way back in the day, right? And so there was some stuff that took place back then. And when that stuff took place, did you say anything about, Lord, I need deliverance? Probably not, because you were abused. You were used. Well, that was the last thing you was thinking about. Well, now that you know, now you can start praying those kind of prayers. You can start casting away the demonic. Some of you all are youth right now. And you know some people that every time you turn around, they calling you, they knocking at the door. They're using excuses to see your relatives so that they can get to see you. They following you. They're always trying to find a way to get over to you, to talk to you. They're predators. They're psychopaths. If they're not trying to get at you in person, they're trying to get at you through the computer. If they're not trying to get at you through the computer, they're trying to get at you through the phone or through your social media pages. And some of you all said they're creepy. There's something wrong. And some of these people are married. They're married. And the only reason why they're married is because of the simple fact is that they got some assets between, that wife or that husband, or they got some children or what have you. And a lot of times these spouses know. They know. They know about Creepy Joe. They know about Weird Martha. But they can only do but so much, because unless there's proof, and then who you gonna go to? You see, you go to law enforcement if you're able to get enough proof on somebody to lock them up. Oh, so you like young girls, huh? Okay. Yeah, we're going to orchestrate a plan to make sure that we put so-and-so behind bars. And then if we can't get him behind bars, we're going to make sure that he gets with the psychiatrist or somebody if he got to wear a straitjacket. Because you're not going to mess with mine. You see, there are parents that will take up those type of measures when enough is enough. They're not going to keep covering up. They're not going to keep being secretive about things. They're going to just go ahead on and expose so-and-so. He had enough time, or she had enough time to get that thing right. She never did. He never did. Okay, now we got to get psychiatrists involved. We got to get the law enforcement involved. We got to get lawyers involved, because folks don't want to stay married to, once they know that somebody is weird or strange or into, all sorts of nasty stuff, and they know they're not into that sort of thing, they don't want to stay married. So now we got to get the lawyers involved. And God shows me these things in the spirit, because we live in this sexualized society of people who, that's all they think about. That's all they want to talk about. For some of them, that's all they want to watch on television. Some of them are so drawn to technology to the point where they can't even allow their bodies to function in the way that God intended because of all of the programming. God didn't call us to be gratified through all sorts of man-made entertainment. The true nature of Adam and Eve did not include, some of this stuff that man didn't come up with. But you got these people that are so twisted and demented in their minds, who have never gotten the necessary help, that they will go ahead and prey on children. And some of them know that there's something not right. But why won't they go and get help? Because, I don't know, and I don't want anybody judging me, and you know how it is. No, go and talk to the people that can help. There's a lot of programs where they keep your information confidential. But once again, I got to urge some of you parents, you got to get these children dressed right. It's not a Christian thing. It's a common sense thing. Get them dressed right. These grown men, 30, 40, 50 plus years old, 60, 70, and you can keep going on, driving by, looking at these girls' behinds like they do, not knowing that a lot of them are children walking down the street. Okay, most women don't walk down the street. Okay, there's women who do, but I'm just saying, and I'm one of them. But most of the females after 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon that's walking down the street are not of age. And they don't want to think about that sort of thing. They just want to look. That's somebody's daughter. And if a family member see that grown man, decades older, is looking at their daughter or granddaughter or niece in the way that he is, you just might end up, if you're that one, with all sorts of problems. What you looking at my daughter for like that? What's up with you, dude? You realize that's a child, right? And some folks, hey, they end up having to deal with law enforcement behind looking at their daughters on the internet, looking at their daughters off the internet. Some of these men are not playing it. They're not playing it. But you got these individuals that want to try. You've been warned, some of you all. But I don't know whether or not you're going to take the information for what it is. But make sure that these children, both male and female, are dressed right. Don't have your sons wearing these tight pants and that their, behinds are looking in the way that they're looking, okay? Don't have your daughters dressed in a certain way where the whole world can see what she look like. You got to take ownership over these sorts of things as parents. I used to go to school with some of these children years and years ago, and their parents thought it was cute to dress the boys in certain outfits. That attracted nothing more than men who were attracted to boys. And some of these parents thought it was cute to let their daughters show off their curves. And a lot of them daughters ended up with 10, 15, 20-some-year-old older men. Why is she with them? Well, look at how you got her dressed. She dressed in your clothes, mama. She got your makeup on her face, and you called her fast, but you let her go over there in your wardrobe. You let her put on the lipstick and everything, but yet you call her fast. So that is it. I hope that some of you all will take heed to this message. You've been listening to YouTube NM Enterprise 7. Please do check the description box for anything that might be of interest. Also, if you haven't given, we do welcome donations. And by all means, subscribe. Well, that is it. Blessings to you.